And there is no wrong camera, with a couple of exceptions. One, I'm ruling out the point and shoot cameras because of the lens filter issue, and I've already talked about that. And two, I hope that no one is thinking of using an action camera as their main filmmaking camera, because they're nowhere near good enough to do that. Okay, let's go back to this slide, which you've already seen before. And little different here, we've got some recommendations to make. Remember now, zoom lenses can give you the equivalent of 2 lenses that you would normally have to buy. So that's why I like bridge zoom cameras. Now off this list, I think you can see there are 3 cameras I think you should consider to buy if you want to buy your first filmmaking camera. At the low end, the Nikon Coolpix B500. Now this is a basic camera, but it covers enough bases and is such a great price at under $240. Now at the higher end, the Panasonic Lumix DCF-Z80K. Well, that's a mouthful, isn't it? You know, this sports great features with 4K and 60 FPS, and it could be a closeout model. Maybe that's why it's so cheap, but you know what? I don't care. At $300, this is a good buy. But if you really wanted to press me for the best pick of this whole lot, I would have to go with the Canon Ps Sx540. Now this is only a full HD camera. It doesn't do 4K, but it has a great zoom. It can do 30 and 60 FPS, and it comes under $260. Folks, I don't think you can go wrong with this camera. Now, I am a Canon man, and that did influence my recommendation, but you know, if you look at the features and the price, and you have to consider the price, I think you will agree that it's tough to beat. And there it is. There's my recommendation for your first camera for filmmaking. Okay, I want to talk about action cameras before we end this. You're going to need an action camera sooner as opposed to later. You know, at some point you're going to be taking moving shots. Your focal point is going to be moving, and you may be moving with them, like walking, running, biking. Make plans to buy an action camera. This is not something I would recommend that you borrow. Just go ahead and buy one. As of April 2020, mid-smack in the COVID-19 pandemic, the best 3 action cameras are, as we can see here on the slide. Take a look at them, look at the brand names, look at the numbers. The reason why these 3 occupy the top 3 spots, and have been for several months now, is their EIS, their electronic image stabilization software. Here are the best, folks, and this makes the output as smooth as you will get. My action camera is none of these. I decided to go a different route. I got an Akaso V50X, and this shoots at 4K 30 FPS, 60 FPS at full HD. Why did I get the Akaso? Because it only cost $100. And when I did the research, the EIS, well, it may not be as good as the GoPro, but it was pretty close. It really had good reviews. I will admit there are a couple things I don't like about it. The microphone is terrible, absolutely terrible. But I don't use the microphone on an action camera, so I don't really care. And the other thing is the 1080p, the full HD. You know, it's a little grainier than I thought it should be, and so that might be a consideration of yours if you were to consider this particular camera. There is a prominent side effect that's very annoying with any action camera, and that's the barrel effect or fisheye view that's produced in the videos. Now, most action cameras will bend the edges and put an unwanted curve on the sides. Look at this video that I'm showing you right now, very short clip. As I sneak up on Mr. Pepper Plant here, look at the edge on the side of my house and see how it does that unnatural curve. You don't want that in a video. You've got to take that out. Now, the GoPro, their cameras, the 7 and the 8, they actually have a feature where you can shoot in linear mode. And what that means is it takes out the barrel effect. It looks like just your normal camera. And I have to admit, that would be really nice to have. That's another reason why you got to pay the big bucks. But no matter, this bending of the edges, you can fix that. You can fix that later on in post, and as we get into the editing section, I'll show you with this very video of my house how I fixed it. Okay, so it can be done. Okay, folks. Well, that covers just about everything we're going to do in this episode. If you want a deeper in-depth discussion on topics like DSLR, mirrorless, log, full frame, etc., I do encourage you to check out some of the other YouTube channels that explain these topics in greater depth. Tony of the Tony and Chelsea Northrup channel, he does a good job. Tony knows his stuff. And when Jared Polin, the man with the hair, when he gets to explaining certain topics like this, he can also do a good job. I do have some links down below and you can check them out. I do want to point out that no matter what camera you're researching, there's always going to be negative reviews that you're going to come across online. You see them on web pages everywhere. And, you've got jerks that come out and will try and trash the camera, any camera, in two different ways. The first thing they'll say is, the camera takes blurry pictures. And number two, they'll always say the colors are off. You know what, folks? These people that say these kind of things don't know how to operate a camera. And you can ignore all of these people and all of their reviews. And I know this for a fact because I used to be one of those meatheads that used to say those kind of things. And then I started reading the user's manual and everything started turning out for the better. Amazing. Yeah. Okay. In the next episode, we're going to talk about some of the accessories that you will need with your camera. And we're also going to talk a little bit about that computer that you're going to need to edit your film. So until then, we'll see you later.